Good morning, everyone. With the talk about a certain actor from Empire, I'm sure you all know who I'm talking about. There was a statement made where they mentioned how facial recognition, it's going to be hard for them to recognize someone's face because they had on masks. However, this is not completely true. There are videos on YouTube where they show how you can wear a mask, you can wear a painter's mask or a ski mask or even a painted mask, like a masquerade type of mask over your eyes, and you can trick facial recognition software. But it's not necessarily true. The main thing when it comes to facial recognition software is skin tone. And what this article that came out over a year ago discusses is how facial recognition gives police a powerful new tracking tool, but it also raises alarms. And one thing that I've talked about before is how AI can be programmed to be racist, how AI can be programmed to discriminate between skin tone, facial structure, eye distance, and the shape of people's ears and noses. That article was sent to me by Sanlo Logan. Shout out to you, sister. But I wanted to discuss a little bit about this topic because I think people are missing the point. The point is not only that you have connections between that actor from Empire, the executive producer from Empire apparently, and or creator, I'm not sure what his title is, creator I guess, and his long line of movies that are very oppressive of black people and just absolute horror stories, the way they portray black characters in the movies. But you have connections between this actor and the studio and people running for president like Kamala Harris and her husband, Cory Booker, Simone Sanders, Terry Crews, aka Fairy Crews, Roland Martin, the list goes on and on. But what we're missing, I think, is how this type of technology would affect all of us as a whole. So if you go down, I'm pretty sure you've read this first paragraph, but I'll go through it anyway. It say, picture a crowded street. Police are searching for a man believed to have committed a violent crime. To find him, they feed a photograph into a video surveillance network powered by AI. A camera, one of thousands, scans the street, instantly analyzing the faces of everyone it sees. Then, an alert. The algorithms found a match with someone in the crowd. Officers rush to the scene and take him into custody. But it turns out the guy isn't the one they're looking for. He just looked a lot like him. The machines were wrong. This is what some makers of this technology fear might happen if police adopt advanced forms of facial recognition that make it easier to track wanted criminals, missing people, and suspected terrorists, while expanding the government's ability to secretly monitor the public. And it's not even secretly monitoring. If you don't know they're monitoring you right by now, like, I don't know where you've been. This has been going on for, decades now. So this is a video, I believe, about this topic where this woman is talking. I think she's a scientist with AI, or she's talking about how facial recognition works. And I can't play that video here because this is NBC and I don't want my video to get flagged, but it plays automatically without sound, and I'm just gonna let that go. But we'll just move on from that. You guys can you'll get the link in the description box. You'll be able to go to it for yourself. But despite real-time facial recognition's dazzling potential for crime prevention, this reminds me of the Tom Cruise movie Minority Report, crime prevention. Pre-crime intervention. I think that's what they called it. I could be wrong, but I think it was pre-crime intervention. So despite all that, It's also raising alarms of the risk of mistakes and abuse. Those concerns are not only coming from privacy and civil rights advocates, but increasingly from tech firms themselves. In recent months, one tech executive has vowed never to sell his facial recognition products to police departments, and another has called on Congress to intervene. One company has formed an ethics board for guidance, and another says it might do the same. Employees and shareholders from some of the world's biggest tech firms have pressed their leaders to get out of business with law enforcement. Facebook, ring a bell? And they say it's not, a quote here from someone, it's not too late for someone to take a stand and keep this from happening. And that was from Brian Brackeen, the CEO of the facial recognition firm Kairos, who wants tech firms to join him in keeping their technology out of law enforcement's hands. And I actually agree with them, because this is intellectual property. And once you have intellectual property that's in the hands of the state, that leads into a lot of other industries that are not designed and do not work for the general public safety all the time. So I don't want to go too far into this. It's a pretty long article. This is from NBC News. I hope you all enjoyed what I have presented so far. We can go more into detail about it at another time, but I will talk to you all in the next video. Let me know what you think in the comment section about this. You have this facial recognition software that's able to, I think the next thing they want to do is 360 views, where they can link in with satellites, but they're able to see you 360, even if the camera on the street is only seeing you from one perspective. They'll be able to know, if they can see you from the back on the street, they'll be able to know who you are, even though, know your face, even though they're only seeing you from the back. This is also linked in with what I was talking about earlier with the celebrity from, the actor from Empire, the show Empire, and how they were saying, oh, they're not gonna know what their face is. They had on masks. Okay, dummy. A mask, a $6 mask from Walmart is not going to, well, maybe I shouldn't have said dummy, but this is how I feel. Dummy. They're not going to be able to see your skeleton behind a $6 mask from Walmart. Come on now. Your skeleton does not change regardless of what mask you have on. The computer knows you're human. So you're trying to tell me that they couldn't figure out who you are behind a mask? People are wondering, how did they know? How did they know these two guys from Nigeria? How did they know? Really? Come on now. So I'm just letting you see a little glimpse into cyber security and AI and how it's being implemented. And perhaps, I'm not sure, I wasn't there in Chicago, excuse me, but perhaps this is how they were able to catch them so easily. Not only with tracking their movements and tracking their social media, things like that, and tracking their spending and all that kind of stuff, but also tracking their facial recognition, which is the skeletal analysis that's done behind a raggedy behind mask you got from the party store or whatever. So anyway, I don't want to go too far. I'll holler at y'all later. Have a good Friday.